Okay. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening to our audience, wherever you are joining in from. Hello to our audience on Facebook. Hello to our audience on LinkedIn, and hello to our audience here with us on YouTube. So today is normally we have our Q&A section on Sunday. So if you have any questions, any concerns, you need clarity, or you're just here watching and you want to contribute on scholarship, academic admission, name it, please feel free to let us know. And so, as our usual custom, we want to say to our audience, welcome. Please drop your name and where you are joining in from. And also feel free to drop your questions or contributions in the comment section. And today we'll have one of our speakers joining in, Julius. He was here with us yesterday. And just to mention, if you missed yesterday's section, I would advise please go and watch it. It was quite interesting. The speakers were really what they gave very insightful discussion, and it was so interesting. So I will say to you, if you are interested in doing a PhD or you're not sure, or you are actually doing a PhD right now, I'll say to you, please go and watch the replay. I would somehow display it on the screen, but you can also navigate the channel and get the recording yourself. So, like I said, drop your questions and your contributions, and also let us know your name and where you are joining in from. So, just to have a recap of yesterday, so yesterday was is PhD for you, and our speakers left off with some very good notes. So let's start with one of the speakers. She said, never give up on your dreams. That no matter how challenging the PhD journey is, or maybe you don't get funding, or maybe you got admission, something went wrong, do not give up. Just keep moving on, and you get it. That was Joanna. And also Dr. Adewale, he said, have a strong reason for doing a PhD. That's what he said. He said, have a strong reason, because I think it takes between 2, 3, 4 years or 5 years. It depends on your journey, and also what research you're doing, and also your circumstances. But life happened in that period. So when he said have a strong reason for doing a PhD, is that so when things happens, maybe family, maybe personal, maybe finances, you still have a reason to keep moving. So he said have a very strong reason for doing a PhD. So that was what Dr. Adewale said. And also Juniors, one of our speakers yesterday, who is also here with us today, he said, what are you bringing into your PhD? It's a journey of growth. So there should be a difference when it's in your first year, in your second year, and your third year. You should have grown. So what are you learning? What skill set are you learning? What experience are you acquiring? What exposure? What are you bringing into your PhD? Because it's your PhD. Yes, you have supervisors, but it's your PhD. So it's a journey of growth. You should be ready to say, okay, these are the steps I want to take. Oh, this is what I want to achieve. So what are you bringing into your PhD? So that's just like a recap of yesterday. And so please, those on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, let us know your name and where you're joining in from. I can see someone, she said, okay, I am Bashirat. I have been applying PhD opportunities, but no positive response yet. But I'm not giving up. Thank you so much, Bashira. Can we know where you're journeying from? I want to leave Nigeria, but just let us know. Thank you so much. That's really interesting. I think it's a good way to start this conversation. Do not give up. And see, if you watch the recording of the speakers yesterday, it was so insightful. I will try to drop the link for those of you that missed it, because they shared their stories. They had different stories to share, and this is like their own story and how they navigated some of these challenges. So, like I said, like Judah said, have a strong reason. What are you bringing to your PhD? And Jonah said, do not give up. I remember one of our speakers the last time, that was I think he was here for Chevening. He said that he applied for Chevening and he got it on the 10th application. Now, he didn't say the first, he didn't say the second. So it took him about 9 years. He got the Chevening scholarship in the 10th application. So you see, do not give up. Okay, people have story to tell behind every smile. People have gone through a lot. So when we tell you don't give up, it's because we've been there and we came out. So please do not give up. Thank you, Bashira. She said you're joining from Nigeria. That's nice. Thank you. Good to see you. And Oh, Ernest, good to see you again. I'm Ernest watching from Italy as usual. Thank you. Good to always have you here. Just to say to my audience, if you can hear me clearly, can you type a yes on the chat? Let me be sure that I'm not speaking to myself. If you can hear me, can you type a yes? That would be very, very helpful. Thank you so much. Okay. While I wait to hear from your oh, thank you, Bashir. That's great. Good to hear. Thank you so much. So, like I said to our audience, please let us know your name and where you are joining from. Oh, thank you, Julius. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you so much. Elizabeth from Nigeria. Thank you so much. Okay, so back to, like I said, today is just question and answer. So please know this. We created this space, okay, to make everybody feel comfortable. So no question is stupid. Even if you're not too clear what you want to ask, just pop it on the chat and we can try and make sense out of it. This is an informal section, okay? So please ask your questions, learn from your mistake, and we'll try to attempt to answer what we can answer. So please feel free to drop your name and where you are joining in from, and please drop your questions. Okay, so while I wait for your questions, while I wait for your comments, your contribution, I'm the one here. Julius will be joining me shortly. But if you, to those watching and you know you have some contributions, or you are a scholar, or you want to share an experience, or you want to share how you benefited from mentorship or webinars, or what you wish you have known, just pop it on the chat. People are watching. People online right now will learn from you, and people that watch this section in the future will also learn from you. So let's keep the community together. Okay. All right. Okay. Bashura said, like, when will the outcome of Commonwealth PhD Scholarship be out? So, okay, to answer that, the best bet is to go to the website to find that out. But one other way, I think mostly, so I'm speaking from my own experience, okay? During my application, I got notified around April, about the outcome of my scholarship, April, okay? So possibly it might be the same for you, Bashira, but I'll strongly advise, go to the website and you can get such information. Or better still, email Commonwealth. Believe me, they are so friendly and open. Hi, my name is Bashira. I want to know when the outcome, or just email them and you get response. Now, let me say this. I'm really glad, Bashira, you asked this question. Permit me if I didn't pronounce your name well. I'm glad you asked this question. As a PhD student, you should be always open to ask questions, okay? Because it's a long journey, my friend. So ask questions, because it's better you ask questions and you don't make a mistake, or possibly you don't waste your time than you just assuming and you waste your time or make mistake. Now let me tell you something. I was watching a video of I think this was a British lady I think she was in my university. I don't know. I think so. A video about they asked her what was one of your if you want to have a redo or about your PhD, what is the advice you give to new PhD students? And she said, please ask questions. That whenever she's speaking with her supervisors and they say some things and she does not know what it means, she just keeps quiet. After this section with them, she goes to the internet or Google to go and find out what it means. Now, at times she gets the meaning, at times she doesn't. But she said that was a waste of her time. What she would have done is, when they are speaking with her and she doesn't understand what they said, she will ask, please, what do you mean by this? Now, that saves her time, that saves their time, and that makes them communicate better than her just saying yes, she understands without understanding. So please, Bashira and other PhD students, please ask questions. The worst that will happen will be someone telling you no. So ask questions to really make your life as a student easier, and also as a researcher easier. Oh, Gloria, it's good to see you. Gloria, all the way from Nigeria. Thank you, Gloria. It's nice to have you here with us. So back to, like I mentioned, to those on joining in with us today, please, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have contributions, if you have whatever you want to share, let us know. So while I wait for Julius to join in with us, I want to talk about different kind of scholarship opportunities, because I think people always think, and from yesterday's section, somebody mentioned something about what about school in the US? Is it just the UK? So I don't have all the answers, okay, but I want to just give some tips. So there are different kind of scholarship opportunities, just to mention. Okay, we have full funding. Now, full funding is when they cover your flights, your stipend, your tuition fee, etc. Okay, and full funding also have some flexibility. Some full funding sponsors your your dependents, maybe your husband, your wife, your children. At Commonwealth, they also have some money they pay to your dependent. Why some don't, just the student themselves. So we have full funding scholarship. We have academic scholarship. We have scholarship based on government. Maybe they just, I don't know, every government have their policies. We have scholarship from department. Now, why I'm mentioning this kind of scholarship opportunities, because people just know the popular ones. And once they didn't get Commonwealth, or they don't get Chevening, or they don't get any other common scholarship, they just say, okay, all hope is lost. No, 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 no. You know, information is power. When you know about information, you start spreading your search for opportunities. Okay, so we have government scholarship, we have academic scholarship, we have scholarship that's full funding, we have partial scholarship. Now we have scholarship from department. Now, what did I mean? You know what school you want to go to, you know the department, you can actually go to the department and see if there's funding for your course, or maybe this or not is a course that is sponsored that which you think you can do. You can apply for that. Now they have scholarship from supervisors. Okay, there's some supervisors have a project that they want students to work with. So there are different ways to get scholarship. I don't want us to limit ourselves. Like I mentioned in the past, one of the reasons for having this webinar is not just to answer questions, but also to help us think widely, also to inform us about different scholarship opportunities. Okay, so that is that. Gloria, you said, please, are all UK universities under the Commonwealth scholarship? Okay, honestly, I don't have an answer to that, but I don't know. I don't think so. So I know. Okay, let me answer this way. For shared scholarship, if you are going for shared, now shared is not for PhD, Gloria. Shared is for masters only. Now for shared scholarship, not all universities are under that scholarship when the scholarship comes out. So there are only some selected universities as well as some courses. So it's just selected few. Okay, Julius is here with us, so I think I will allow Julius to just add in to that. But for Commonwealth PhD, what I know is that for Commonwealth PhD is you tend to pick your school and pick your course and Commonwealth sponsor. So it doesn't matter. I think as long as the school you pick is within the UK, I think so, if I'm mistaken, like I did in the UK, I'm in the UK, then they sponsor it. So I don't know if Julius want to add anything to that, or why you want to take your time, you can. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Ejiro, I didn't get the gist of the question. Please, are you all UK universities under the Commonwealth scholarship? Yeah, okay, sorry. Great. Now, not all UK universities are under the Commonwealth Pack. So you need to confirm that the university you're applying to actually is part of the Commonwealth, and that they have that deal, because what Commonwealth does, it talks to universities, they give partial scholarship, either tuition to you, as Commonwealth adds some more money to your funding pocket. So if that university has no agreement with Commonwealth, the Foreign and Commonwealth Commission, about this funding mechanism, then they won't accept you for the scholarship. Neither is the scholarship tenable in that university. So that's something you need to Google. Something else to add on that, Matilda, a lot of people come to me asking me, which university should I go to? Can you recommend to me a university? No, I'll not recommend to you a university. Why should I? Why am I saying this? I'm not being rude and I'm not trying to be hard on people, but it's your role to find out which university you want to go to based on the field that you want to go and study. Two is what does the university need and the specific course you want to go to study. So this has to be dependent first on the course you want to take. I can only speak for Newcastle University because that's where I've been. I can't speak for any other university. Same way to Matilda, she can only speak maybe about Leeds. It would be very difficult for Matilda to start telling you about Cambridge or Oxford, and she's not been there. The general rule that I give people from developing countries, don't get into this fame and social connotations where people want to study in London for the prestige of being in London. I can tell you for sure, studying outside London is way cheaper, and education in the UK is almost at the same level across most of these universities. Yes, you may
Yeah.
want to go to Ivy League universities, well and good, but remember, these universities are very competitive. If you are
Very.
going to apply to them, you need to know that you are falling in a big pool of global competition. That may lessen your chances of you being picked by this university. Or two, you, even if you're picked and you get the scholarship, surviving there becomes very difficult. Ask those in London, though their stipend is a bit higher, but the cost of living there is very expensive. The nature of how London works and how fast it is, a lot of people from developing countries actually are not able to catch up with what's happening. And these are the things that people need to start thinking critically about before making applications. So I think now that I'm in, Matilda, I'm getting a hang of it. So I'll pick up any other questions that come along the way.
Okay. Thank you so much. So if you have, thank you. I hope, Gloria, I hope we answered those questions. If you have more questions, please let us know. I just want to, I have a question which I want to ask Julius, which I also want to contribute to. So I have this question, and while we wait for the audience to do their question, my first question is, this is for, because we spoke about PhD yesterday. Okay, especially for you, Julius. So I want to ask a question. If you were, I know you are in your third year, so if you were to start your PhD, maybe from the first year, what is that one thing? Imagine you're advising a new PhD student. What is that one thing that you want to do that you did not do, that I think will make your journey better, that maybe you learned later on, which you wish you have learned earlier?
Thank you for that question, Matilda. It's a difficult question. It's a good question. It's not a difficult question because I know what I should have changed. One of the most important things is to do very good literature review. Yesterday I talked about my PhD transitioning at the very first stages of the program. And this is because at times you have not done adequate literature review. And what happens is you end up settling on a topic that you have very little understanding of. That changes a lot of dynamics because you are throwing yourself into an area you don't understand. Your supervisor has very little information in. But if I had done really good literature review before I started or I settled on that program, I will have shaped the discussions with my supervisor. What often happens is that when your supervisor meets you and they want to hear your the direction you want to take for your PhD. Remember, it's your PhD. It's not your supervisors. So their first approach to you will be, can you tell me what it is you want? Now, if you've not done really good literature review, you will end up providing a raw verdict of yourself. And that means that your supervisor will struggle to put you together and to put your objectives together so that you attain a PhD level objectives and approach to your research. So I will have done more in-depth literature review. I will have started preparing my research proposal really early, because the proposal that I sent to Commonwealth when I was applying for my funding is the same proposal that I went to start my PhD program with. That was a big blunder, because I should have taken the month or two while transiting between the funding and receiving the funding and starting my program. I should have taken time to change and reorient my proposal so that it meets my intended research. I didn't do that. So when I got to Newcastle, I had to start from ground zero after having what we call a learning agreement with your supervisor. I had to start drafting my objectives again, and looking at what methodologies am I using to achieve the expected outcomes. And that took a long time. It took a long time. Something else that I'll say for those with families, try to think a bit about bringing your family over just when you're starting your PhD. It's a big commitment for you first to settle your family and to start your PhD. I'm not saying family is not good. Family is really good, especially for unwinding and having a support system. But when you're just coming into a new country, the country has its own regulations. You need to know the transport system. You need to know where to get your food, how to work around cultural issues, how to settle in the correct way so that you make the best use of your PhD. Now, if you bring your family immediately, I can tell you for sure, settling that family takes a long, long time. And the chaos and being torn about family and your PhD makes a lot of things very, very difficult. So I was lucky. I traveled first, then my family came later, which made things a bit easier for me. But I see a lot of people struggling a lot to settle their family and get their PhDs going. So think critically about you bringing your family at the same time you're starting your PhD, the pros and cons. The person you're with matters a lot. Your partner, wife, husband matters a lot. He's thinking about your PhD. How does he visualize himself in the UK? Those are things that you should agree on. Is your partner ready to sit in the house and look after your baby and change diapers? Those are serious questions that people don't want to ask at the onset. You think, oh, we have this opportunity to go to the UK, it's voila, all things will work right. No, there are really deep, ingrained, nitty-gritty issues in terms of family, managing your children, taking them to school. If you don't drive in the UK, it becomes a bit complicated taking your kid to school every morning and picking them after school. That disorients your schooling schedule, and if you have any ongoing work in the lab, that changes a big deal. So I think I'll mention those few things that I should have done right, and picking from other people's experiences just to help you make that decision before you get into it.
Thank you so much. That's really that's a lot and that's interesting. Thank you so much. I want to respond to 2 points you made, which are very interesting. The one of the family. Hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. One of the family and one of the literature review. So let me start with the family first. Okay. So I because I want to say this because I had a colleague that had moved with the family to the UK for the PhD, but had accommodation issues, settling down to schooling and stuff with the kids and everything, and didn't really have a stable son to take care of the kids. So it was a struggle, serious struggle, and the colleague had some deadline to meet, and the colleague didn't want to open up to the supervisors. So and I had to tell the colleague you have to open up because if you don't, they'll think you're not serious and they won't know what challenges you are going through. So for you, what do you think? Do you think when you have this struggle with the family, do you think people should open up to their supervisor or should you just keep mute? What do you think?
Matilda, it's very important, and I mentioned this yesterday, that you need to build your first role as a PhD student is to build a candid relationship with your supervisor. Your supervisor should not only be your academic guide, he should also be ready to listen to more of personal, family related issues and understand. He may not solve them. No, actually, you may even find a supervisor who doesn't have a family. So he may not even understand all these issues you're telling him or her. But if you're able to share these challenges with them, they find ways to support you even with those challenges. It's good also for them to understand where you're coming from, what challenges you're going through. That, in a way, at the far end, will cover you when you need to apply for any extensions for your
Yeah.
submissions. If your panel meeting is coming and your data is not ready, you're spending a lot of time trying to settle your family, then he'll easily approve a request for you to extend your submission time period, and that will cover you for a bit. It's very important that your supervisor knows about what's going on, but this has to be also handled very wisely and intelligently. I always tell people, Matilda, your supervisor is not your father, it's not your mother. They're not there to babysit you. There are problems that are truly, truly personal problems. And you need to weigh on how you communicate them to your supervisor. What information do you give him? And what do you expect in return? So you may be having a problem, but if you explain to me a problem, and maybe I may not even have a solution to it, I don't even understand it, it becomes really difficult. And most supervisors are torn in this place. So what should I do? Actually, they won't tell you like straight up, but you need to have a good relationship with your advisor and to know what exactly you can ask from him and the kind of feedback you expect from him. Some things are just for information purpose. You're just informing
Yeah.
them that ABCD is happening, and I don't really need advice or anything. I just wanted you to know so that you can find a better way to support me or understand. At times you go through depression and stress through this PhD process. It's good for your supervisor to know you're in that phase, that doc, I'm really stressed about this, I'm really stressed about ABCD, I don't know what to do about it, I feel it's draining me down. And they'll point you either to advisors, counselors, or find a solution in
Yeah.
that one aspect that you're stuck in. So I think it's good for your supervisor to know about these problems, but you also need to be wise enough to know how to describe these challenges to your supervisor.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before I go to my next question, this is just a follow up to your question, to what you said. Um, I think this is not just for PhD students; it's also peculiar to all postgraduate students, whether masters or PhD. Because I remember doing my masters, I had some challenges, and I kept it to myself, and it affected me, and I didn't know I could get such help. I don't know, but most times back home in Africa, at times people don't really tell maybe their lecturers or their lecturers what they go to personally. They just like keep it to themselves. Do you understand? So they don't. So, but when you come to school in maybe in a foreign land, you are facing something new entirely, a new culture, new everything. So there's a lot to deal with. So the less of a burden you have for yourself, the better for you. So you need to um let them know. Let me give you an example. So I don't know this peculiar in your own country, but for when I go, I think in my country, when you miss an exam, for example, that's my school back home, you have to wait for next year to have a receipt of the exam. So when I came into the UK for my master's, I was ill, so I didn't want to wait for one more year. So I did not tell them. So I wrote the exam ill. I did well, but I didn't do so well because I struggled. But I never knew that you can have a receipt a month later. So if I have opened up, I would have been told. Do you understand? So I kept to myself and I had to write the exam being sick and everything. So, but if I've opened up earlier to someone or to a tutor, they'll be like, oh, tell me that, oh, no, you don't need to, just get better and come back for the receipt a month later. So, opening up to your supervisors or your lecturer is important because it really save you when you need it. So, I don't know, do you want to add to that before I go to my next question?
Yes, yes. As I mentioned, there are numerous challenges that come with a postgraduate study, especially in another country, and
Yeah.
try to learn to be independent. Independence helps. You need to move away from focusing every decision you want to make on your supervisor. It's good to approach your
Yeah.
supervisor with, this is the problem and this is the solution I've thought about, and that's the direction I'm taking. And you need to be more courageous about communicating this to your supervisor so that your supervisor knows that he's handling a mature student who is independent. And that independence is key. It's key. It strengthens the trust in your supervisor that you know what you're doing, You know the problems, the problems that you're going through, and the solutions to them are well understandable to you, and you are taking charge. So every supervisor wants to see their student taking charge at some point. Now, if every problem, you want solutions to come from your supervisor, at some point the supervisor gets tired. He wants us like, boss, you need to be a PhD at some point. It's no longer your first year. You are now going towards your second year. I expect more maturity from you. I expect you to be able to mentor other people. These challenges, you need to find solutions to them and tell me. Even you may need a break, like you may need a break from your work, and that's a good solution. How do you communicate it to your supervisor that, prof, we've done ABCD, and where I am now, I think this is getting down on me. Can I take a 2 weeks break from my work just to refresh and think around the problems I'm facing? Then I can embark on it, and you set a day that you'll be meeting next to discuss those challenges.
Okay, thank you so much. I can see we have multiple joining in. So those on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, thank you for joining in. Please let us know your name and where you're joining from. It's nice to see we have people here. Thank you so much. So my next question is on literature review. You said if you want to have a review to be a literature review. And so in my own case, I did like an that is what extensive literature review that honestly speaking, when I was doing that I wasn't so happy because I thought that I'm just going to a lot of work for unnecessarily that I can do this later in my PhD, not my first year. It was too much work. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. It's a lot of work. But at the long run, I found it very useful because I'm collecting my data now, and some of the things I found in my data, I don't need to start looking for literature. I already have it. I can now see that I have it in my literature review, and I also have like a broader understanding of my work. So, but when I was doing it, I wasn't enjoying it. I'm like, no, this is too much. So I when you mentioned literature review, I actually had an appreciation for it because I was happy at the end I did it, even though I was like, nah.
Matilda, the problem with most people is that people don't want to read. They think, oh, I'll get to uni and I'll figure this out later. But just reading around your topic, it's really important. Reading around your topic, summarize a few points. It gives you
Yeah.
better context of what you want to do. It gives you a better context of what others have done out there and some of the methodologies that you can use. Now, if you don't do this early enough, you'll get into a PhD. There's coursework that you need to do. There are these workshops that university needs you to undergo. Things such as statistics courses. Those are things that often are challenging to most students. So if you don't do your literature review early, you won't get time to do it in the middle of your PhD. You may find yourself doing your literature review at the end of your PhD when you're doing your write-up. Then you realize, wow, there are serious gaps that I didn't see at the start. Now you've already collected your data. You can't answer those questions at that instance. And that's why the literature review and identifying the gaps you need to is so important.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thank you so much. So, I know you might have some questions too, but let me just ask this question. So audience, please drop your questions. We made this section for you. So if you have any burning questions or you need clarity, let us know on the chat and we'll try to respond. And also, if you have any comments or contribution to what we are saying, please drop them on the chat. So I know we have some scholars on the chat. That'll be nice to hear your own view. So my next question is this. Okay. This is for scholarship. Okay. Now, because now we have self-sponsored students and we have funded students. So, what will you say has been your most um, should I use the word? Okay, what do you think is the benefit or the main benefit or for you for being a scholar? That's fully funded scholarship. What's the benefit for you? That's just one the most rewarding, or I don't know. Yeah.
Well, networking
Can you hear me?
opportunities for sure. Yes, I can hear you, Matilda. Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. If the audience can hear me, I can. Yeah, I can. Please go on.
All right, great. So I think the most important thing for any scholarly work is how well are you funded and supported. It's really important. In addition to that, is what opportunities does your scholarship provide? And one of the things that has been impressive with Chevening and Commonwealth scholarships is the potential or the space to network and collaborate, one with other scholars and with people within the Commonwealth circles, previous alumni, the various meetings we go for, organized by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, various university meetings, because it's considered a prestigious scholarship across the globe. So you rank very highly when you identify as a Commonwealth scholar or a Chevening scholar. That on its own is not everything. You need to build your own skill sets and ability to network. Networking is only about yourself more than anyone else. So can you actually reach out and network when you're given those opportunities? So in addition to that, funding, being sure that you don't have stress with your living costs, you don't have stress with your research money. They fund really, really well. I'll give you an example, and I'll be a bit honest with this. Annually, I think from my first year, now that I'm through my third year, just for research only, I had a budget of £8,000 per year. £8,000 is about 1.3, 1.4, or 1.5 million Kenya shillings. That's not cheap money. It's a lot of money. So if you're funding yourself, it becomes a proper strain that you have to go for fieldwork. You're spending about 1.5 million Kenya shillings. If you're putting that in shillings or in pounds, that's about £10,000. That's a lot of money. So if you have a scholarship provider who is funding you to do this, then you have better space to play around with your ideas, to do anything that you want out in the field that is noble, that is innovative, and having that funding helps a lot. And I'll say that has been my big side about being a scholar: networking and knowing that your research is well funded. I've attended a lot of conferences. I think I've attended 3 international conferences until now,
That's
with
lovely. Oh my God, that's nice.
two local within the UK. So it gives you an opportunity to travel. I've attended a conference in Australia, 2
No
conferences in the
way.
US,
Oh my
2
goodness.
conferences in the US, just in this PhD period. And
Hmm.
that shows you how robust this scholarship is. All this was funded by them. All my expenses, my hotel stays were funded by them. The question is, what are you benefiting from all this expense that is being that is going to you? Have you developed those networks that you need? Have you developed partnerships? Have you developed adequate collaborations? What has changed in your research through these scholarships? So that's very important. And publication as well. If you're a scholar, you kind of assured you can publish, and you will pay for those publications because they can easily cost £1,000 to £3,000, depending on the journal and where you're publishing. So if you have somebody who can pay for that, then it puts you on a better pedestal.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. So I believe our audience, if you don't have questions, at least you are learning from our experiences. And Julius has a lot more to say. So I'll let Julius now take the lead. He has some point to share, which I think you all find very beneficial, very useful. So while he does that, please feel free to drop your questions or contribution. Thank you so much.
Uh, um, Ejiro, somebody I've seen in the comments has asked that they've been applying for scholarships. They've not, they've not been lucky to get any.
Really, did I miss that? Oh, wait,
Yeah,
this one, Bashirat?
yeah, Bashurat. I've been
Yeah,
applying for
okay,
PhD,
great.
but no positive response yet. So, Bashurat, I'll tell you this. I know Ejiro tried to explain it to you, but I'll do it myself to put it in a better context. For my master's Chevening scholarship, I applied it 2 days. I started the application 2 days before the submission date. My brother is the one who sent me the link, told me to apply, and I started 2 days before the submission date. And I managed to submit. Surprisingly, I was shortlisted and I got the scholarship. The first time I applied for it, it was just 2 days to the submission and I got it. I was shortlisted for interview. I went to the British High Commission as the in-person interview. After that, what happened during my PhD scholarship? I applied, those that I can count, there were at least 50 in just 1 year. On the first year after my master's, I applied for at least 50, between 50 and 100. I can't remember the exact number. And none of them came through. I didn't get any of them. So I kept on applying. On my second year, towards the end of my second year, that was in the middle of COVID 2019. That's when I submitted my Commonwealth PhD application. After applying for scholarships in Australia, Canada, China, Japan, North Korea,
Everywhere.
Italy, lots of applications to American universities, some supervisors, professors just telling you, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not taking any students now in my lab. And often those are the responses you get, or unfortunately you didn't qualify in this time round, apply in our next application cohort. You can't give up. I always say, Robert Sharma said, if you want something so badly, the entire world conspires to give this thing to you. So you need to want it so badly. It's hard work. It's a lot of sleepless nights. The best thing it does is that it polishes up on your writing skills. You kind of understand actually what are these people looking for in a PhD application. So the more you do it, the more you polish up your communication skills, how to write a proper personal statement, how to do a good proposal, and how to be a better applicant and quite competitive, how to explain or describe your abilities and expertise. Those are things you learn along the way. But the most important thing, don't give up. Keep applying, even when you get those negative feedback.
Okay, thank you so much, Julius. And yeah, I hope that's helpful, Bashirat. You know, I mentioned to her that one of our speakers in the past applied for Shavni and he got in the 10th time. So it took him 9 years. The
Mm-hmm.
10th year he got the scholarship. So if like Joanna said, when you give up, you're not gonna get it. So you don't just give up. So thank you for more emphasis, Julius. So just I just want to mention this to add to what Julius said is it's not please I know Julius said it took 2 days to apply for master's scholarship, but I think Julius have built this experience over the years. Am I mistaken?
Yeah.
Because
True.
I don't want people to get the wrong opinion, like, oh, he did it for 2 days, so I can use one day. No, if you
No.
haven't built that okay, maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
had
want
applied before I submitted the Chevening application. I think I'd made more than 30 applications to different master's programs. And so it meant, and why it went really quickly, it's because I had these things saved in my document, in my
good,
laptop, personal
good.
statements, all these things, or your networking abilities, the essay for that, the essay for what's your plan after your master's. I had all those essays already saved in my laptop. That made the application to be quite easy and quickly. But if you're just starting, it's good to put enough time into an application.
Yeah,
Put in enough attention. Take time to Google, search for information. Have other people read through your work. Even little grammar mistakes that you may not see yourself, someone else may pick out. And those grammar mistakes are really annoying, especially to an examiner who is really used to high-end quality work. They'll be like, no, this just doesn't qualify. The grammar mistakes are just not worth a master's. They need to improve themselves a bit. So yes, train yourself a lot. Don't think because someone else did it in 1 day or 2 days, then you are up to the task. No, there's more that these people did for them to be able to submit an application in a day or two. It doesn't work for everybody. So take a lot of time. When the application starts, it's best to start working on your application at that instance. Have enough time to go through it. When you submit your submitted quality work, you're confident that with the way you submitted your application, you may get the scholarship.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I wanted us to put that out there. Okay, I know you still have more to say, but I want to mention this. And this is peculiar to some students, not every applicant. Some people don't want to do the work. Now, I brought this up because something happened today. Now we host this section so that people can come and ask questions, because at times some people need clarity. Some people doubt themselves, they need help or whatever. But despite hosting these sections, I still get DMs, people sending me message for me to answer them. And one way you cannot answer everybody one by one. It's a waste of your time and it's not efficient. So imagine you have this section coming up and someone has a very important question to ask, and the person sends a DM, help me do this, help me apply for scholarship, help me look for schools, help me do this, do that. Now we hold this section because we know that people, not everybody knows what to do. But when you come here once, twice, third, fourth time, you start getting more information and you start getting comfortable to know how to apply or do things for yourself. I don't know. Have you have such experience? Because I have it a lot. People just come to ask me, do this, do this, do this, but they don't want to come and learn or do the work.
Yes, Matilda, it's a big problem. As a mentor, I think the biggest problem is finding serious mentees. And because we've been through this space, you know the messages that are from someone who is serious. Someone just sent me a message yesterday. How did you
Oh,
get to the UK?
you
Like,
flew.
like
You flew.
no, is that person serious? And then later they want to tell me, oh, you don't reply to my messages. Of course I'll not reply to such a message. It's not objective. I don't know what you're asking me. Like, how do people come? How do people move across the world? That's what you're trying to ask me. It's not a question that I can spend energy on, to be honest, because there are people have asked me better questions in that platform, and I need to see where is the priority. Who has been really informative? They've given me enough information that I
Yeah.
can use to inform them further. Or else, if you ask me, how did you get to the UK? You're playing around, you know. So I always advise people, try to look for information through Google. Go Google around, get a lot of information about what you want to inquire, so that if you inquire on something, it's a very objective question. It's
Yeah.
guided in some way. I know where this is going. I kind of look for information based on that. Additionally, is the way we communicate to people. You know, this hi, hello, how are you? How are you doing? Oh, you are well. How is UK? No, let's cut on those little, I call them petty chat. A lot of people don't have time for that. Go straight to your point. Hi, I hope you're doing well. I hope the UK is kind to you. I'm so and so. I'm looking for opportunities in this area. My area of interest is ABCD. I've tried this, but I've kept struggling with this. You know, that is information that I can work with. I know
Yeah.
where to target. I know what the problem is. Then we start working around a solution with you. So I think we need to put these things out there so that people even know. And this even builds your skills on how you approach supervisors.
Exactly.
Yes. Because if you go to a supervisor and you give them this one word, you know, so one sentence or really shallow sentence, a supervisor will not respond to you. And I can tell you, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, I was doing the same thing. I was sending these generic messages to supervisors, and they will not respond. And I was asking myself why. But the more you talk to people, the more you attend such sessions, you realize that there's more you need to do.
Yeah.
There's more you need to be looking out for. Go out, try to search who is Julius Solume. What has he done? Where is his area of expertise? What questions really are really good questions to ask him? That will really help. The same thing you have to do with your supervisor. This is a professor. What has he published on? What is his area of interest? What can I tell him that will make me go into his A list, that he really gets to be interested in me and my work? Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have a question on the chat, and it's from Redemption Emotion. Okay, from Zambia. Thank you, Julius. Thank you for that. CM here. Okay, his name is CM, or hand him or his name. CM here, joining from Zambia. Okay, I was starting to prep for master's application. Which course did you both study? And did you have any challenges with English requirements? Thanks.
Well, Matilda, you'll go first on this.
Okay. So I studied transport in my master's, and I'm also doing transport and gender in my PhD. And no, I did not have English challenge because my school gave me an English waiver. So in Leeds, they gave me what's it called, a waiver for IELTS. So some people actually got IELTS, but I got a waiver. So that is me. And yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, I had so my master's was in agriculture and environmental science at Newcastle University through Chevening scholarship. It's a requirement by Chevening that you have to provide proficiency, English language proficiency, either through TOEFL, IELTS, or one of these PTE, or one of these English global recognized examinations. So I had to sit my TOEFL. Surprisingly, I have a very interesting story about this TOEFL exam. I didn't have money at that time. I just finished my undergrad, you're struggling. And, I had to book that exam and sit it in 1 month.
Wow.
I remember my brother told me it's impossible for you to do this exam in 1 month. So he offered to pay the exam for me. And I sat down, I was given all this huge material and books and CDs to put to play, to revise on. And the first weeks I started, I thought, no, I'll not make it in 1 month. But I sat down, let me tell you, I read for it like a proper exam. I didn't go to anyone to train me or to teach me. I just sat down, read for the exam, went through lots of the online available questions by myself, because paying for someone to train you was way more expensive. I couldn't afford it. So I went, read by myself, did lots of questions until I found myself getting between, because there are more than 100 questions actually on the TOEFL exams of that during that time. I was getting above 90, 95 on every category, either English, speaking, reading, writing, speaking, reading, listening. I tried to ensure that I had above a 20, which was required. So when I was confident that I'm getting 20s from this online practice, I was like, yes, I'm ready for this exam. And that's how I went and sat the exam. I passed. Since there, now, before I submitted my funding application, they needed you to show that you had proficiency in language exam, and I not sat the exam. So what did I do? I went to my university, asked them to give me a letter showing that I've undertaken all my courses in English. So I was given that. It was signed by the VC's office, and that's what I showed to Chevening, that indeed my course was in English and they can give me a waiver. But they refused on the waiver. They said, no, it's a requirement that you have to provide English proficiency results, either TOEFL or IELTS. At that time, they were accepting TOEFL. I think these days they don't accept TOEFL anymore. It depends with the institution. So you need to Google which institution accepts which language test. That aside, anyway, so I submitted it and later submitted my TOEFL exams, and that's when I got the email telling me now your scholarship has moved from conditional to unconditional offer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Julius.
I hope that was a helpful answer for the audience who was raised. But if he feels like there's more he needs to know, just pop the question through and we'll discuss.
Yeah, same. If you are satisfied with the answer, let us know. If you have further question, please feel free to drop on the chat. So we are almost in the hour now. I think we can spare 15 minutes max or 20 minutes. You guys, what do you think? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll do 15.
15, yeah, 15.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you. So CM said, thanks so much. It's clear. Great. It's good to know that we are being helpful. So I just want to ask Judas if you have some important tips you can give. This is not just for PhD. Okay, so let's speak in general for MSc, PhD, or even applicants. Any
yeah.
tips that can help them, yeah, or things that they take for granted. I know in the course of the conversation you mentioned man of approach, how you approach someone, do not waste time and all the stuff. So any other things that can be helpful. That'll be good.
Yeah, I'll start from the basics, Matilda. A lot of people who approach you about abroad scholarships, they just want to leave their countries and come abroad. That's the biggest challenge with everyone. A lot of people are mentoring. They're always looking for a way out, but they don't know what or what they want to come and do abroad. So it's either you're coming to study or you're coming to work. You can't just leave your country and come abroad without a reason why. Or like this person who asked me the question, how did you get to the UK? He wants to leave the country, but he doesn't know why. And that's why you can't respond to him. So there are two easiest ways to move abroad is either through studies or work. Now, through studies, you need to understand that your studies can either be funded through a scholarship or self-funded. If it's self-funded, there are regulations to that. You need to have the money.
Yeah.
You need to know the university that you're applying to. No one will look for will suggest universities for you. It's you to go online, find a suitable university based on the course that you want to pursue. Google about the research acumen of the institution you want to go to in that field, in that specific field. What kind of funding are they attracting? The researchers there, who is the specialist in your area? Are there a number of them so that you kind of start looking out for possible supervisors? What are the programs that these institutions are running? Now, there's a long list in the world, the global university tier, I think, of the top 200 universities globally, the top 500 universities globally. Use that list to help you know some of the universities that you want to go to. If you want to study in the UK, which are the universities that you want to approach? Look at the application criteria. Do they need you to submit an English requirement? Do they need you to submit, for those going to the US, a GRE result? Do they need you to have a proposal? Do they have an application fee? I always tell people, avoid a university that you're going to pay for an application. Newcastle does not ask for an application or an admission fee, and that's a plus, because you can imagine paying an admission fee, then you are not selected because you didn't meet the criteria. So you need to look at, do I meet the criteria first for this program? Most of the programs, they need you to have either a degree or a master's. I think Ejiro has made a really, really good video about graduate opportunities in the US. That video is super powerful, Ejiro. I wish a lot of people went back and watched it.
I will share
The
it
the
again, yeah.
the speakers were really informed, and they know what it is that is required to get opportunities in the US. Now, apart from that, if you're coming in on a scholarship, then you need to apply for the funding and you need to apply to the university. So there are those two applications you need to make, and they need to be very clear in your mind that, oh, this application is going to my funder and this application is going to the university. How do you conform that within your area of expertise? If you're coming for work, I'll not discuss. It's an area that my shoe is not big enough to discuss, but I have a few pointers. If anyone is interested in that line, you need to know that if you're coming abroad, they'll want you to come into an area that their people cannot work there, or they have limited expertise in that area, and that's why they are taking somebody from abroad. So you need to know what is this list called, Matilda? This list, the UK job list. for those that can be employed from abroad. There's a list that
And
is on the UK government website, showing roles that,
those and the courses, or rather the discipline, right?
yes, the disciplines that
Yeah, I've seen it.
are employable.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've forgotten the name.
Yeah. So you go to those websites, you look at what jobs really you can be employed in. Do you qualify? Do you need a certificate of sponsorship from a company? Does that company give that certificate of sponsorship? So the work route is quite complicated. The student route is the easiest route. Then think around, can I remain in that country after my studies? If you've been funded by Commonwealth or one of these scholarship providers, you know you can't. If you want to remain, then you need to look for a pathway to that, because there's the graduate visa, there's the global talent visa. You need to know how that you transit to that, and whether actually it's possible, whether you're a Commonwealth scholar. So there are all those issues that I'd be happy to discuss with people, but I'll have to get the points into my fingertips so that you can share those nicely. But pop the questions through if you're stuck anywhere. Send some questions over to my LinkedIn and we'll pick up the discussion.
Thank you so much. Thank you. When we were speaking, a question came up from. Okay, I don't know. I'll just call the person John. I don't know what this is. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to share. I've shared the section as you just mentioned the section on US, and this is it here. I shared it, so you can see it on the chat. You can click on the link. It's accessible on the chat, and also the one on the section we had yesterday with Julius and other speakers on PhD. So you can just click on the link. Okay. Why Julius was speaking? This question came in from John. It says, which masters must I pursue to help my UI UX designer career? Have done undergrad in BCA, that's computer application, guide me. Then he had a follow-up question. Oh, he said, Mom, Julius, it's me and it doesn't matter the mom. Mom, or Julius, I want to do masters. Which one should I select? Which support you? Honestly, okay. You want to take this because
Yes, I'll take it. Ejiro.
okay, great.
Yes, we receive this question every day. Which course should I take? And I just mentioned that question is the same as which university should I study
Yeah.
in? Now, the basic answer to that question is, where is your passion? And not trying to be rude. Where is your passion? What are you looking as your career path? So if you want to do design, I don't know what this UI and UX mean, and people should not stop assuming because I'm doing a PhD, then I know all these terminologies. So if you want to do a course in design, whichever design it is, same way if you want to do a course in agriculture, if you want to do a course in soil science, if you want to do a course in molecular physics, you need to understand yourself first. What are you looking for? What is your career pathway? No one will advise you on a course to do. No one. You need to look at your work history, your expertise, what course informs that expertise. Google around master's courses in that program in UK or whichever country you want to go to. Then you'll start getting insights. Or if I do a master's in graphic design, this is just me throwing up some master's courses. I don't know actually what graphic design is and what it entails. So if you Google, oh, masters in graphic design, actually they have UI UX designer in it. So you know that's the course to go for. If you want to be a molecular physicist, oh, if I go and pursue a course in masters in molecular science, then they have a molecular physics aspect in it, and this is provided by Cambridge University, provided by Queen Elizabeth, College in London, or Newcastle or Leeds University. It's you to take we spend a lot of time on social media. I wish we spend that time Googling about career pathways you want to take, and this information is available online. You don't need anyone to tell you. So go online, put that course onto Google. And in fact, I almost did it for you here, but I'll not. I'll save the energy. But put the question onto Google. Ask Google, what masters can I do in UI stroke UX designer? Which master's program can I take, and which ones are offered in the UK? There's ChatGPT. ChatGPT helps. Put that question in; it will give you suggestions and help you to start thinking critically about those options. I'm trying to be as basic and raw as possible. So I hope that helped. If it didn't, throw the question, then we'll see how to go about it.
Yeah, Julius, thank you so much. And okay, he or she said thank you. And just to add, one thing that I want to say is, once you have a community, maybe a scholarship community, either on WhatsApp group or the webinars, you get to meet people that you can speak with. But they need to see commitment on your own part, like Julian said. Maybe be following their discussions or whatever they've been posting, and you like, okay, you've done your work, you've done some part. Okay, this is what I've done so far. Now, how can you help me? So you can just come and say, okay, what school or what course? You need to have done some work. So the person knows that yes, you're committed because it's also their own time. Nobody wants their time to be wasted. So just to add to that, yeah. And yeah, I think we have 4 minutes before we call it a night. We didn't really have several questions today, which is for me, I think it's good somehow.
Mhm.
Possibly participants are learning a lot so far, which is good. So I just want to say this before I ask Juniors to just give his final contribution. Is because of the holiday coming up, we'll be having a section next week. So we're taking a break. If you want to watch webinars on US or scholarship or different things which there are good resources in on the channel. So just go to the channel and look for the resources. You can learn a thing or two. One thing we said in the past is the more you watch these webinars, the more you ask questions, the more you become comfortable, the more you become better. You get exposed. You know what you want to do, or it becomes clearer. But you don't just sit at home and you expect someone to do the work for you. No, we did the work ourselves, and that's why we are here today to try to help you to do the work. So don't just put it all on us. Do the work. Watch webinars, ask questions, join WhatsApp communities, and do the work. Is all I can say. Okay, so yeah, we have 3 minutes before we call it a night. So I want to say to Junior, so I know you've been speaking a lot today, so thank you. And happy Easter to you too, John. Thank you so much. So I want to say this for people now. This is for people that have done the work. Okay, I know this might take you to the first question of Bashirat. For people that have done the work, that are still doing the work, but nothing is happening. Now this is not just a question of don't give up. What advice can you give them? Can you give them? So I know they don't want to give up, okay, but they've done the work. So what I'm saying is I have a mentee that he sent me a message some days back and said Commonwealth no show, and he wasted money to go to for the interview. He wasted money for admission. He paid for application fee. He felt so bad, but he does the work. Yet nothing is happening. So what kind of advice you have for people like that?
Uh, One, that's life. That's life.
That's
Unfortunately,
life.
so that's life. Unfortunately, so. But you need to keep your grit level high. It's just like applying for jobs, Ejiro. You go for this job interview, you spend your fare, you spend everything, money and things to you bought yourself a nice new suit, and you get to that job, the competition is high, and you don't get the job. What do? Do you go and sit home? You have responsibilities for your family, you have your own life responsibilities, and to get a job, you still wake up the following day and go for another job interview until you get a job. So that's the reality of the situation. You can't give up. Continue applying if really it is an area you're keen in. Another thing that I've learned through my PhD is when you're getting stuck in whichever pathway you're taking, it's good to take a step back and just calm down. Take a break from everything so that you start looking at things more pragmatically. What am I doing wrong? What is not happening? Talk to people. Talk to everyone you can meet so that you get a new context to your work. At times, it doesn't mean that you are not uh, meeting the quality that these people want. It just means that probably during the cohorts that you apply for, they are very competitive, that you are getting people with really, really high qualifications who are applying with you, and that pushes you down the ladder. But you keep applying
Yeah.
and praying, hoping, praying for favor. I always say favor is very important. I always say I applied for scholarships with really intelligent people. People had gotten first classes in my course and things, but they were not selected. But I was selected. Why? I was not the smartest person. It's because you've been doing extra things past just academia. You've polished your networking skills. How have you handled your interviews? How have you explained your abilities in your writing? And you can be the smartest person in the room, but expressing your smartness becomes difficult, and that puts you in an awkward position. So don't give up. Don't give up. That's the most important thing. Keep and stay on the grid and look for these things that you can do that can enhance your applications. If people are looking for leadership potential, do you have these leadership traits? Have you done these things before? Have you led any organization? Do you get a real leadership opportunity and you can demonstrate that actually you've led? If those are the weaknesses in your application, try to reach out and meet those downsides, or those shortfalls that you're having. That will help you in your subsequent applications. Talk to people more, reach out, send us your applications, we review it. Don't be scared when people critique you. Personally, I'm a very harsh reviewer, because I want the best for people. Yeah, because I want the best for people, and that's the warning I give most of my mentors. I will be very harsh with you, but that's the only way to learn and grow. uh, I think that will help to some point.
Yeah, thank you so much. I love that. I love the ending. You want them to grow, which is very important
Mm,
because when they grow, they can become useful and help someone else tomorrow. So the
yes.
circle keeps going. Thank you so much. I just want to mention something. You said if you feel that maybe you lack something, reach out and learn. I want to mention this is we what we do now, we volunteer our time. We're not being paid. We our time, our resources to help people. But I found out that some people don't want to volunteer, and that's a problem. One of our speakers, he works in Oxford. He said he volunteered for 1 year and now he's in Oxford. That experience that he was not paid for 1 year, he volunteered and that got him to Oxford. Now, but most time people don't want to volunteer because except you pay them. But yet you find out that something is missing, you don't want to go and volunteer, and you're not getting your scholarship, and you're complaining. So it's sad. If you know you don't have opportunity to get leadership skills and there's an opportunity out there, go there and learn and build your CV, build your profile, build your portfolio so that you can become more competitive because every day people keep upping their game and the scholarship become more competitive. So what are you pushing into yourself? Like you just said yesterday, you said scholarship is a journey. What are you bringing into the PhD? What are you putting in? Because you have to grow. So it's not just for PhD, it's for MSc, for anything. It's for life. You have to grow if you want to be what you want to stand out. So I think we'll call it a night here. Thank you so much, all our speakers. Thank you, NS and the rest people joining us from different parts of the country, from I think Italy, Zambia, Nigeria, etc. Thank you so much, and thank you, Julius, for popping in to help us despite being busy. Oh,
I know, Ejiro, just a quick one, and
yeah,
receive my sincere apologies. You caught me off guard uh, today because I'm not prepared for this. I've been breaking from time to time, but I hope
yeah,
moving forward we will have this structured, so that I'm prepared adequately. So if there's
that's
any
fine.
audience that did not get their answers as they would have wished, kindly send in a message, email Ejiro, or send a question. She'll pop it to us, or send us a message on our LinkedIn. and we'll try to help you as much as we can. We are here to help. No one is paying us for this. So yeah, if you get this opportunity for someone who is willing to help, use it, and we'll try to the best of our abilities. If anyone feels their questions were not answered as well as they would have wanted, we can carry on the conversation.
Okay, thank you, Julius. That's very kind of you. So this is Julius contact on LinkedIn. You can reach him there, and you can always drop comments in the YouTube. I saw that some people drop comments on yesterday's section. That was like this morning. So I tried to respond to some, and our speakers can also go back and respond if they are free. So this section is ongoing, but for next week we are taking a break. So enjoy your holiday, and like Julius said, at times take a break to relax and come back much ready. So thank you, Julius, so much. And yes, it was a good session. I'm sure some of the audience or most of the audience enjoyed it. I want to believe they did. That they can let us know in the chat. Thank you so much. And just to mention, I think we'll be back possibly in a week's time or 2 weeks' time, and we'll let you know what sections we have upcoming. And just to add, if you have any topic in mind that you want us to address, let us know and we can organize a section for you. Like we mentioned, the section on PhD yesterday was we did it because a mentee asked for help, so we had to like have a session on that, and a lot of people benefited from it. So if you have questions or you want us to address certain topic, let us know and we can try our best to help out. So once again, thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you, Julius, for taking out time despite your busy schedule. And take care of yourself. Thank you so much. Name, I go. Thank you. Okay, and everyone have a good evening.